Okay guys, now it is time for my top 5 best episodes from SpongeBob Season 1. Number 5 is Pickles. Yeah, I liked Pickles. It was a really nice episode. We introduced a new villain, which was Bubble Bass. Was good because, better than having just Plankton around. They'd have some variety. And, you just gotta have some variety. I don't really have much to say other than this was a really entertaining episode. And, well, it just happens to be the 5th episode I've ever watched, actually. So, that's ironic. It's number 5 on this list, and it's the 5th episode I've seen. It's, sorry, let me think for a little bit. Sorry, I'm not gonna edit this out. The episode was really good. It had the brand new character, Bubble Bass. SpongeBob was being tampered with by Bubble Bass, but I managed to find that really entertaining. The episode was really funny, and I like how Mr. Krabs was willing to get SpongeBob back on track. And the twist, normally SpongeBob has bad twists, like they do in Season 2, which we'll get to that when I make Season 2. But let's get back to this season. So, this episode was really good because of its comedy, how Mr. Krabs was helping out SpongeBob, and how the twist in the end, where the pickles were under Bubble Bass's tongue, makes sense, considering the fact that we never really saw him swallow, so it only makes sense, and we know that he had to have had pickles. We saw him make the crepe. No, wait, that was a crepe for someone else, but, we know he had to have the pickles, right? And he got caught. So, that was good. I was like, 3 or 4 years old when I saw this, and I still find it to be one of the best from the season. Anyways, that's all I really have to say about it, believe it or not. But you'll like the rest of them. Number 4 is Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, the first one. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 1 was a really great introduction to 2 of my favorite superheroes in Nickelodeon history. Obviously, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Mermaid Man is hilarious. And Barnacle Boy is also really funny too. And I just like the whole setup. Everything just feels like it was done right. And just think, SpongeBob and Patrick, they're completely clueless about what they've done, but in a way where it's not bad, frustrating, like it was in Hall Monitor, but in a way where it was great. In a way where it was just fun to watch and not stupidly frustrating. But the reason why it's not any higher is because it's got a couple of problems. Like the part of Mermaid Man and talking about marriage and stuff and a wedding doesn't make any sense at all, whether or not he's senile or not. And the part where Squidward knows where the 2 are, but SpongeBob and Patrick didn't know where they were. It doesn't really make any sense to have Squidward of all people to tell him where he is. I mean, where Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are. Anyways, let's get on to number 3 now. Number 3 is, surprisingly, it's pizza delivery. The reason I say surprisingly is because people normally put this at number 1, but I got 2 other episodes that feel more deserving at number 1 in my opinion. Number 3's pizza delivery is because, well, why isn't it? The interactions with Squidward and SpongeBob are just about as entertaining as Brian and Stewie. I don't know which one would be which, but yeah, it's really fun. I like how Mr. Krabs just makes the pizza out of nowhere with the Krabby Patties that actually felt funny instead of forced. And Squidward actually had some character in him after all for SpongeBob, as he was nice enough to, slam the pizza into the guy's face for being a jerk about a drink he never even ordered. Which, let's face it, that was definitely forced and stupid just to make us not like the guy. But that's only one of the few problems with the episode, other than a bunch of nitpicks that I don't really want to point out. Now I know what you're thinking. After all that being said, why isn't it number 1? Well, we'll get to that in a bit with number 2, which is ironically Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 2. The reason why this one is higher is because I just find less flaws with it. And it's Mermaid and Barnacle Boy. Their first episode is number 4 on this list. Clearly they have some material. They're still very funny, which, thank goodness, because, it'd suck if they just automatically became bad and immediately in the first season. Barnacle Boy and Mermaid Man are hilarious. Mermaid Man was still very nice to SpongeBob despite abusing him with the conch shell. And my only real problem is the whole plot switch where, he's using the conch shell to summon them, and now they switch from that to him riding with them in the invisible boatmobile. Seems pretty far-fetched, but whatever. The episode is still really good and entertaining, and I like how they actually introduced one of their old villains, which was Dirty Bubble. In the first one, they didn't introduce anyone. No Man Ray, no Dirty Bubble, no nothing. And I like how SpongeBob actually took him down. It was very entertaining and funny, and I hope that they continue on with more of these episodes. Which they already did. It's been 20 years? So, but we'll get to that in a bit. If I do season 2. And now, number 1. Out of all of these, what could number 1 be? It is... Hooky! Okay, you guys might not even like this one, to be honest. I've heard a few people say they don't like it, but I actually like it a lot. Not only is it one of the first few I've seen, it's the third one I've seen of the show, but it was the first of the season I've seen, and it introduced me to the first season so well. First of all, I can't even find a single flaw with it. The setup with Mr. Krabs was nice and funny. The jokes in it were hilarious. And everyone is in character. And it even teaches a lesson about addiction and what to do about it. SpongeBob's not a show that really does lessons, but when it does lessons, it does it right with this episode. First of all, it doesn't just teach an addiction lesson, it teaches lessons for all generations. Ages. For kids, it teaches why you shouldn't go ahead and just play with whatever you find outside, because it could be dangerous. In a way where it doesn't feel like they're really forcing it in on us. And it teaches why you shouldn't always... It teaches you that you should really know your friends before doing anything drastic with them. For a lesson for teenagers, because Patrick is the one who got SpongeBob addicted to hooks, even though SpongeBob knew that was a bad idea. And the ending, finished up teaching up a lesson about addiction. Like what you should do, listen to the people that know better, and to not actually go ahead and try it out for yourself, no matter how tempting it is. or who tells you to do it. And it manages to teach that very well in a way where it doesn't feel forced or out of sync with the show. And looking back at it, I'd say it taught me a lot. I mean, I never went out there and did anything bad in my life. Like, I never got addicted to anything, never did anything with friends. I never played with anything dangerous outside. And I'm not addicted to anything. And I can thank this episode for that. I mean, it taught me at like a young age, a super young age, and I still love it to death to this day. I was like, what, 3 years old, 3 or 4? I can't remember exactly, but I was so young. And I recommend this episode to anyone, and I wish people would praise it more, as it deserves the praise and attention that I'm giving it. Especially because I can't find any flaws in it. Like, I guess my flaw would have to be that Squidward was the one who was controlling it the whole time, but how the heck could he have done that, I guess? That's all I really have as a complaint. But other than that, there's nothing else. I mean, just go look at it. Go look at the episode. You can't tell me it's bad. Patrick got what he deserved in the end. He was still in character of being a buffoon. Mr. Krabs being nice to SpongeBob instead of just being a cheap jackass. And Squidward was very funny and in character too. Even though he was hardly in the episode, but he was still used very well. And I guess my only other flaw would be like SpongeBob was naked, but big whoop, he was naked in nature pants, and that came before this episode. And he's been naked a lot after this episode and before too. So it's no big deal for me. I get that some people might say, oh, it's a SpongeBob torture porn that he did that, but when you think about it, it's not really. Because Mr. Krabs warned them very well about the hooks, and he decided to go ahead and do what Patrick was saying, even though he knew it was wrong. Patrick got in trouble. Patrick got his comeuppance for what he did to SpongeBob, getting him addicted, and for not listening to Mr. Krabs when Mr. Krabs warned them both a second time. Well, Patrick at first, but SpongeBob a second, you know what I mean. And Mr. Krabs, it may seem cruel what he did, but he was only doing it to teach SpongeBob a lesson to see if he really was listening to what he was saying. And seeing as how SpongeBob listened to Patrick, even though he knew that he was wrong, you know, it only makes sense that SpongeBob would get some type of punishment in a way where it's because he wasn't listening. Not to get punishment just because he didn't listen, as he was still given a second chance, but a punishment in a way where he will immediately get punished if he gives up that second chance. And it works very well. And Patrick getting stuck in the tunic and was very funny. And he deserved it too for what he did, but what he did felt like it was still inside of his character. It still felt like it was a part of him to really get SpongeBob to do that. Especially because, like, he did it in a way where he was stupid about the hooks himself. And they even portrayed it like that, too, in the episode. As he's literally putting the hooks in his mouth and his butt sat on one of them. And still. And the live-action cameos were really good, too. I swear, I can remember many parts of this episode from way back. And I'm surprised I still remember them that way. I still love this episode to death, and I still can't believe that people don't really care about it and would go ahead and just hate on it a little bit and not even care. Anyways, that was my list. If you guys liked it, then try getting this video to 5 likes, and I'll go ahead and make season 2. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.